Tonight, the White House revealing President Trump's new medical diagnosis. The president experiencing swelling in his legs, now diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. The White House also explaining this bruising on his hand appearing to be covered in makeup. Tonight, we'll show you the letter from his doctor assuring the country the president remains in excellent health. Flash flooding in the Midwest as a month's worth of rain hit Kansas City in under 24 hours. In New Jersey, we hear from a man who survived after getting struck by lightning. Tens of millions under heat alerts as that tropical disturbance closes in on Louisiana. An Israeli strike on the only Catholic church in Gaza. The parish priest, a close friend of the late Pope Francis, injured. Why Israel is saying it was a mistake. The stunning arrest in connection to that paddleboarder who was killed in Maine. A teenage boy now in custody. What the medical examiner says was the cause of her death. In our series, The Cost of Denial, a North Carolina couple denied over and over by their insurance for medications to manage side effects from cancer treatment. What happened when they used AI to write their last appeal letter? And one man's odyssey to get as many free meals, coffee, and ice cream as he could on his birthday. Tonight, the Indiana Jones of Freebies shares his secrets. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. With so much scrutiny on the health of the American presidents lately, it came as a surprise when the White House announced President Trump had been diagnosed with a medical condition impacting blood flow known as chronic venous insufficiency. It can create swelling in the legs, which some have observed in his recent public appearances. It's a common diagnosis for older adults, and the president's doctor said overall he's in excellent health. And then there's his hands, which some have noted appear to be covered in makeup in recent weeks. The White House press secretary says it stems from greeting so many people with a handshake. Garrett Hake leads us off tonight from the White House.
Tonight, with recent photos showing what appear to be swelling in President Trump's ankles and bruises on his hands, this announcement from the White House.
In the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt reading a letter from the president's doctor revealing he's been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, a common swelling of the legs caused by blood pooling in the veins.
In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease.
That physician letter, which the White House released, noting an echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Adding, the president remains in excellent health. The White House says the president, who's 79, is not experiencing pain or discomfort.
Chronic venous insufficiency, it's actually quite common. It occurs in about 40 to 50% of adults older than the age of 70.
We spoke to vascular surgeon Dr. Lee Kirksey at the Cleveland Clinic.
What are the symptoms typically?
Those patients with mild symptoms may simply have occasional leg swelling. In the most severe instances, patients may experience discoloration or even skin ulceration.
As for the bruising on his hand, seen here during a meeting with French President Macron in February and appearing to be covered by makeup earlier this week, the White House physician saying it's consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, taken as a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. Trump has repeatedly joked about the amount of handshaking his role requires, including after this lengthy receiving line during his recent trip to the Middle East.
I shook more hands than any human being is capable of doing. That was a long deal, and they were big people.
Garrett joins us tonight from the White House. So, Garrett, how is this diagnosis expected to affect the president going forward?
Well, Tom, the White House insists that it won't. A White House official tells me the president doesn't intend to make any changes to his schedule or to his lifestyle. They say today's disclosure is much more about transparency than any kind of particular medical concern. Tom?
All right, Garrett Hake leading us off tonight. Garrett, thank you. Now to the south, where 4 million are under flood watches in Louisiana and Mississippi, as a tropical downpour is expected to soak the central Gulf Coast. NBC's George Solis is in the storm zone tonight.
Heavy rain and gusting winds slamming southwest Florida. In Missouri, dramatic flash flooding. This roadway completely washed out. Kansas City seeing a month's worth of rain in just 24 hours. In New Jersey, officials say a deadly lightning strike at this archery club injured more than a dozen people, including a 7-year-old. Bud Thomas, the club's treasurer, surviving and is now recovering from first-degree burns on his body.
How lucky do you feel to be alive?
I'm pretty lucky to be alive.
Thomas and other witnesses at the range say there was no rain or thunder before the bolt struck, which authorities say killed 61-year-old Robert Montgomery.
He was a really good guy. When I reached out for help, he was the first one that answered.
This week, a string of summer wild weather wreaking havoc across the country.
Holy moly!
Wisconsin slammed with at least 7 reported tornadoes yesterday. Now, southern Louisiana and Mississippi brace for a bout of tropical turbulent weather that may dump as much as 10 inches of rain over several days. George Solis, NBC News.
Okay, we want to head to the Mideast now. The deadly strike on the only Catholic church in Gaza, hit by an Israeli tank shell, prompting President Trump to call Israel's prime minister to criticize that strike. Matt Bradley's in Israel tonight.
Tonight, a look at the damage to Gaza's only Catholic church after it was struck by Israeli artillery. The building's still standing, but church officials say 3 people were killed. 2 of them buried today, their funerals at the neighboring Greek Orthodox church. As they were leaving after finishing their prayer, they were targeted, said this man who was sheltering in the church. The strike prompting a call and criticism from President Trump.
What is the president's reaction to that church coming under fire?
It was not a positive reaction. He called Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning to address the strikes on that church in Gaza.
The IDF says fragments from a tank shell fired nearby hit the church mistakenly. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying Israel deeply regrets that its stray ammunition hit Gaza's Holy Family Church. Every innocent life lost is a tragedy. We share the grief of the families and the faithful. Among the lately injured was the parish priest, Father Gabriele Romanelli. It was Father Romanelli who the late Pope Francis called every day in the months before he died to check up on the church and the tiny Catholic community here as it kept its faith under fire. Tonight, Pope Leo calling it a military attack on the church and saying he was deeply saddened, and he renewed his calls for an immediate ceasefire. Tom?
Okay, Matt, we thank you. Back home to that devastating death in Maine. Police today arresting a teenager in connection with the homicide of a 48-year-old paddleboarder whose body was found earlier this month. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin has the latest on the investigation.
Tonight, a shocking development in the killing of Sunshine Stewart. A 17-year-old male is now in custody in connection with her homicide. The much-loved local was found dead near a campsite in the quiet town of Union, Maine. Police also confirming the 48-year-old was killed by strangulation and blunt force trauma. The news leaving close friend Chloe Keller stunned.
That's inconceivable. I can't imagine being that age and making that choice to harm another human being.
Police say the 17-year-old was arrested without incident in Union late last night. They've yet to release his identity, pointing to his status as a minor, saying in a statement that the teen has been transported to a youth development center in South Portland.
Just for search purposes, she is very experienced on the water with a paddleboard.
According to police, Stewart's body was located during a search of Crawford Pond on July 3rd, last seen paddleboarding the evening before. A public safety official told local newspaper Midcoast Villager Stewart's paddleboard was found by drone on an island called 100 Acre. Her body was next to it where the water met the shore.
When a community that's been safe for time immemorial has its innocence robbed of it, it does shake the foundation of comfort and safety.
What do you want to see happen next?
I think everyone, all of us who knew and loved her, need to gather and be together and celebrate her. She was beloved, profoundly beloved by everyone I knew who knew her.
Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News.
On the health front tonight, an alarming new report shows gastrointestinal cancers are on the rise in people under 50, increasing faster than any other type of early onset cancer. Here's Ann Thompson with what you need to know.
So chemotherapy round 5 starts today.
This is not the trend Mark Sevillano Jr. wants to set.
Have you ever heard of esophageal cancer?
At 40, he was diagnosed with stage 2 esophageal cancer.
I was tests?
Let's put it this way, I'm still processing it today.
It is a gastrointestinal or GI cancer, the fastest rising type of cancer in people under 50 in the U.S. and around the world. They include colorectal, gastric, pancreatic, and esophageal cancers, increasing 2% a year. The findings published today in JAMA. Dana-Farber's Dr. Kimmy Eng co-authored the review.
What's driving the increase?
So that is the question of the century. We currently do not know what is driving the rising rates of gastrointestinal cancers in young people.
They do know 1/3 have a hereditary factor. Among other risk factors, obesity, poor diet, including ultra-processed foods, and sedentary lifestyle.
We also need to start looking at other novel environmental exposures, such as things in the air, such as chemicals in our food, and things like microplastics.
Now cancer-free, Mark is urging his followers to be aware.
Cancer could happen to anybody at any age, at any time. If you feel like something is wrong, please go get checked.
Because early detection can save lives. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
We're following some breaking news right now. Let's get this late update.
That's right, Tom. Just moments ago, major announcement from CBS saying the network is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert after more than 3 decades on the air. Stephen Colbert making that announcement himself in a social media post. He said the network made the call to end not only his run as host, but to cancel The Late Show altogether in just 10 months in May of next year. Colbert appeared to make the announcement during a recording of tonight's program. You can hear the audience reacting in real time.
Before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
Now, Colbert took over as host and executive producer of The Late Show back in 2015. CBS and Paramount releasing a statement late today saying, in part, this is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. It is not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount. Now, this comes amid a shifting landscape in the media industry, and Paramount itself is in the middle of a historic merger. The Late Show launched back in 1993 with David Letterman as the original host before handing the reins to Colbert after his run on Comedy Central.
And we'll be right back in 60 seconds. The side effects from cancer left her in excruciating pain, but 3 times her insurance denied the medication her physicians said she needed. How using artificial intelligence helped her finally get the coverage the doctors ordered. That's next. Now to our series, The Cost of Denial, and the technique more people are using to fight back against the insurance companies that deny coverage or claims. Artificial intelligence, so simple, our Brian Chung found out just about anyone can do it.
I basically avoided stairs.
Yeah.
If I could.
That's because every step was grueling for Stephanie Nixdorf. In Davidson, North Carolina, her morning routine nearly impossible to get through without pain. She had to ask for help just to open a juice container.
So even that was something you couldn't do 6 months ago? Oh, yeah, no.
In 2022, Stephanie was diagnosed with stage 4 skin cancer. Luckily, she responded well to immunotherapy.
But the flip side of that is that there are side effects.
For Stephanie, that meant excruciating joint pain. 2 doctors recommended the infusion medication infliximab, but her insurance denied coverage.
I remember getting on the phone and yelling at the insurance company. And yelled at the insurance. Yeah, just,
Stephanie's husband, Jason, furious when he saw the denial letter from Premera Blue Cross, which had covered her cancer care, saying the services requested don't meet guidelines for coverage and called the use of infliximab experimental. 2 appeals were also denied.
Did you feel like you were being treated as human beings? Absolutely not. Just a number. Yeah, no name, no face kind of thing. Yeah. Gmail.
Desperate, Jason turned to artificial intelligence.
You get to the point of where, okay, this is our last hope.
He had come across a doctor developing an AI tool to take on insurance companies. That doctor helped him use AI to generate an appeal letter for Stephanie more than 20 pages long. Within 48 hours of sending in that version, along with copies to public officials,
right up top, your appeal was approved.
Despite the 3 previous denials for Stephanie, Premera Blue Cross now tells NBC News that the denial of service came from a Premera processing error involving a misapplication of policy. There was no intent to deny care. The ultimate approval letter from Premera said, "I want to apologize that you have been waiting to receive treatment for 9 months." Now, there are AI services specifically designed for insurance denials.
Introducing Claimable.
One of them, Claimable, says it can generate appeal letters for coverage of 70 medications for a cost of about $40.
Climbing stairs and stuff like that. Climbing stairs are hard.
We tested it with Jason, plugging in insurance information and using drop-down menus to explain symptoms and the deny claim.
So I will hit continue.
In about 15 minutes, I had an expansive appeals letter, complete with scientific references and personal stories.
These are things I would never have thought of.
The Nixdorfs credit AI with Stephanie finally getting the drugs she needed, but they're left frustrated it took so much time.
If you could talk to the CEO of the insurance company, what would you say? I would say, what if this was your wife?
Yeah.
And this was happening to you?
Yeah, or your daughter or your sister.
That message from a couple that says they had to use artificial intelligence to be treated like real people.
And Brian Chung joins us now live in studio. Brian, for some, using AI, that may sound intimidating.
Yeah, it sounds a little techy, sounds a little difficult, but I found it simple and relatively quick to use. And I should point out that it's not just AI tools that are being used for health insurance. There are tools that homeowners can use to dispute their denied claims as well. Tom.
All right, Brian Chung for us. Brian, great story. We're back in a moment with huge news for people who vape and a major update from the FDA. We're back now with an update in the Breonna Taylor case. The Justice Department asking a federal judge to sentence former Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson to just 1 day in prison after he was convicted of violating Taylor's civil rights in a raid that led to her killing in 2020. The charge Hankinson was convicted on carries a potential maximum life sentence in prison. Louisville's mayor today calling for Hankinson to receive a, quote, serious prison sentence. Also tonight, some big news for people who vape. The FDA saying that Juul Labs can continue selling e-cigarettes and refill cartridges after wrapping up a multi-year review. But an FDA spokesperson also says that doesn't mean the products are safe or FDA approved. It just means that Juul met the legal standard to market their vape as tobacco products in the U.S. Sad news in the sports world tonight. Felix Baumgartner, the extreme sport athlete, daredevil, and skydiver, died in a paragliding accident in Italy. You might remember him from this moment, his 2012 stunt when he jumped down to earth from the stratosphere. That was the highest ever free fall at the time. He was 56 years old. And when we return, a reminder why the best things in life are free. One man's odyssey to get every freebie he can find, from cookies to coffee to cheesecake to Chipotle, in a single day. His birthday. That's next. Finally, there is good news tonight. Who doesn't love a freebie on their birthday? Well, one man is making it his mission to see how much food, coffee, and ice cream one birthday boy can get. Here's Camila Bernal.
Let me show you everywhere I'm getting free food today on my birthday.
Full price is for quitters.
Free pretzel at Wetzel's Pretzels. Apple pie from Popeyes. A Baja Blast freeze at Taco Bell. We got a small orange chicken this year.
Because there's always a deal Clint Savatos can help you find.
Only paid $1 for the $6 taco.
Especially on your birthday.
I'm always looking for a deal. I'm always looking to save money. 6 lemon pepper wings at Buffalo Wild Wings.
As the Wall Street Journal reported, this trend is on the rise. He's one of many on social media competing for free treats and even meals.
This thing is ginormous. Free Whopper at Burger King.
The preparation takes months, and when others are making wish lists, Clint is making spreadsheets.
And there's no way I could get it all done without being organized.
For this year's birthday, more than 38 stops, 18,000 steps, and less than $25 spent. But impossible to do alone.
I had to call in to help for these birthday rewards.
Is it fun or does it feel like work?
I think it's a lot of fun. Getting free guacamole is fantastic.
Clint's goal for next year is more than 40 freebies. But in the meantime, free coffee.
Oh, I'm so excited.
He's still cashing in the deals. It's better when it's free.
Oh, everything's better when it's free. Thanks for all the birthday wishes.
Camila Bernal, NBC News, Los Angeles.
It is better when it's free. So true. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Llamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.